Hey guys, Pieguyrulz here, and welcome back to another Korra TV log. Today we will be talking about the episode "The Guide." So, coming off beginnings, like it would be so hard from a writing standpoint to. I mean, just you have something so amazing, so fantastic. This great story that has great visuals, great everything that was contained into an hour, less than an hour, and now you have to come back to Korra, and I think they did a pretty good job. I think they did a pretty good job of connecting, and I didn't mention it last time, but it also, or I might have, but it connected. Not only was Wanda's journey amazing, but it did connect to Korra's because. As it turns out, that the bad spirit, the spirit of evil or whatever, is actually who Unalaq is following. And I wonder if Unalaq, was called for, I wonder how kind of this relationship was set up, whether it was Unalaq who initiated it or the bad spirit or whatever. I'm sure we'll find out. But, it's connected and we get to see it. And so that's cool. So it's cool that we kind of have this connection. It doesn't seem like just a random story. Honestly, even if it was a random story, it'd be great. But for the greater overall book 2 of Korra, it's important that it did kind of click in there. It is a little bit weird though because Korra really didn't meet Avatar 1. Korra just kind of watched his life. Unless Korra did something different than we saw. We were just watching Juan's life. Meanwhile, Korra was kind of having a conversation with him in the corner. No, but. Sorry, it's fall allergy season. They did a good job, is what I'm trying to kind of say. I mean, do I think that this episode was as strong as the last two? No way. Do I think that Korra is only going to get better from here? I hope. This episode was pretty good. It's great to see Korra back with Tenzin and his family. And it also kind of handled the whole, the Varric thing. I like Varric as a villain. Varric as a villain is cool because when we see him in this episode, he's not, he's not over the top evil or anything. He acts the same way he usually acts, but he's just the tiniest bit of menacing, and he's still goofy and he's still, very flavorful in the way he speaks. But now, we kind of put him in darker lighting, and we have more mood music to indicate he's a villain. Just little things, that make his scenes with Mako just kind of chilling because he's not Unalaq, Mister I'm the bad guy. Blah, blah, blah. He's, Mako, people do things, and he's kind of. That was a little bit the Joker. But he's kind of more like the manipulative villain. He's not the, I'm evil. He's kind of like, your friends need some protecting because there's bad people out there. Like he's that kind of villain. And that's cool. That's funny. Well, not necessarily funny, but it's funny that we get to see Goofy Varric, yet we know he's this villain. And that's great. Yeah. That's really cool. I really like that. And I think what this episode brought back, what I was saying about how we lost something when we lost the spirituality, when Korra meets up with Tenzin, we kind of get that again, because we find out Jinora can see spirits, and that's great. That's so cool. It's interesting that we've kind of given each of Tenzin's kids a little bit of a story, and the bigger, the youngest, Milo, got the one-off about training lemurs. Iki got, I hope it was Iki and not Jinora, or else I'm completely messing this up. But yeah, I think it was Iki who was the one that ran away and kind of made friends with the bison. And now Jinora has this power to see spirits and connect. Is a very strong spiritual person, and that's cool. It's cool that we're giving them more depth because they're cool characters, even though they are kids. I mean, I guess in fairness, Jinora's kind of closer to Aang's age than Korra is, so we kind of get to recapture that original, Avatar about kids thing. But we also get the spirituality. We get to, there's not really any fighting, but we still get to see spectacular displays with bending. You know, we get to see some cool things. We get to see Korra tame the spirits and stuff. That's all. I don't need there to be fighting in every scene or anything like that. I just want to see some fantastic bending, because that's a lot about what the show is with these these fantastic powers that are so well developed and well defined, and the writers are able to use them to create these these spectacles, these great things with them. It's not so much about fighting, it's just about, you can shoot fire from your hands, use it, So this episode, and it married the two. It married the whole spiritual Tenzin, all that, with Mako's kind of noir plot of, that. And I guess at the end of the day, it's kind of like there is two things going on. We've got the more realistic Mako, being framed by Varric, who is much more down to earth of a villain, as goofy as he is. He's much more realistic. And then you have Korra, obviously the much more important one with Unalaq and, Evil Spirit and that kind of thing. So this episode was pretty good. It did a good job kind of coming back off that awesomeness that was Avatar 1. What else do I have here in my notes? Dragonfly bunny spirits were really cool. Nice design, clever idea, really cute, of course. Korra seems to be more patient and at ease, which is cool. I don't really know what she did. Maybe just seeing Wan's story humbled her. I mean, I guess that's it. It would have been cool that she did something and she had some sort of realization, but I guess she did. She kind of did. I like Tenzin's flaw that he can't connect to the spirit world, and it just kind of seems to be a thing that he just can't do. And perhaps the reason is because so much pressure from Aang. That would be my guess. My guess at it, because you have, Tenzin is a very spiritual person, but he is also, it does get frustrated fairly easily. So, once Aang put the pressure on him as a kid, he was never able to do it, and now even as an adult, he just feels so much pressure that he just, it's like when you want to try to sleep, but you can't sleep because you're like, oh, I'm trying so hard to sleep right now, but you can't sleep because that's not what sleep is. Sleep isn't about giving effort and trying hard. Sleep is about just relaxing and letting it come. And that seems to be the same thing with the spirit world. And Tenzin can't do that because he's so wound up on trying to do it that he just can't do it. And that's cool. It's a cool flaw. That makes sense to me, at least. And I like that it's Jinora that has to take Korra into the Jinora and Korra. Interesting. Into the spirit world. That's cool. And I'm so glad we're gonna get to see spirit world awesomeness. I hope this whole Tenzin framing Mako thing doesn't go on for too long, because it is a little bit, I don't want to say cliche, but it's a little bit like we don't really want to see it. Like, we know Mako's innocent, and of course, but God, I hope that Asami and Bolin come to his rescue instead of being like, no, maybe Varric's a good. What I assume is that they're gonna be questioning just a little bit. They're gonna be, and then Varric's gonna say or do something that'll tip them off, and they're gonna go after Varric and save Mako and whatever. Cool. The Mako and Asami thing, whatever. They're teasing it, but they're not going too hard on it, so that's cool. What else? It kind of really sucks that that Toph's daughter, that Lin, is now kind of relegated to being kind of not a bad guy, but an antagonist in a way, that she's just straight up police chief. She doesn't take nonsense. That's her shtick. She doesn't care. But I guess that's what she was in the first season too. So I don't know. I miss her being on the hero's side. And yeah, that's about it. So the show, it really, really, really can only get better. They're taking steps in the right direction. There's more spirit world stuff. There's more, kind of displays of bending. There's more of that, and it's not that I don't like the whole, I love the Varric thing. I love that Varric's a bad guy, but I'm not entirely thrilled on the kind of film noir thing they're going on with, the police officer that's, he's got a hunch, and the police chief won't believe him, and then he goes behind your back, and then he gets framed by the bad guy. Like, it seems so played out, and it's just so, like, we've seen it. We could do this plot in any other show. You have a very unique concept with Avatar, and you take it and you shrink it down to just having, it's like, let's make a sitcom, but in the Avatarverse. It's like, no, that's stupid. You have these powers, you have this mythology, this spirituality, you have, all of these unique and quirky characters, and you're just going to shove them into a stereotypical plot? Like, no, don't do that. Varric's great, but don't make it be this cliched thing. Oh, and here's something that would be absolutely, like, insane if they did it, and they wouldn't do it. What if Mako was a bad guy? What if, like, Varric wasn't bad at all? What if Mako was really, like, he wasn't framed? He was trying to frame Varric. Like, how insanely awesome would that be? But I wouldn't do that. Like, Varric being evil is something that you could, I guess, kind of see, but they wouldn't do that to Mako. Be cool if they did, though. Alright, well, I've blathered on enough. Let me know what you think about the episode. Pieguyrulz.